Hi everyone, Randy Lilson, Chief Marketing Officer at Conga, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Seth Mars. Seth is a Principal Analyst at Forrester, and we're going to be talking about revenue management. So Seth, let's start with this. A lot of discussion about revenue teams, the move to a revenue approach. How's this different than a traditional sales approach?
I think it really starts with collaboration. So when you look at it, if you say revenue and you say sales, it's kind of the same thing. But I think when you put sales as a term, it's kind of hard to collaborate around that if you're a marketing and customer success team. So by saying it's a revenue team, the way that we look at it is those are all the customer facing teams that are facilitating the interaction with your buyers, with your customers. So we look at it as sales, marketing, and customer success working in collaboration to be able to handle and manage customer need, demand, all of that type of stuff. So that's the core of it and how we talk about it. There are other fringes that come out around, Salesforce has their own version that includes finance, and there's other different versions, but at its pure core, the way we define revenue teams is that collaboration between sales, marketing, customer success to really focus on the customer experience.
Seth, there's a lot of technology that can be used to help drive revenue, and one of the roles that analysts can play is to help bringing order to that chaos and understanding the taxonomy of solutions. So what role do you see solutions like Conga playing in the revenue ecosystem?
A tool like Conga plays a critical role in connecting the revenue team with the rest of the business, because even though you have these sales, customer success, and marketing that are working on the front end, the back office and the actual execution of sales, of manufacturing, of all of that needs a connection point. And one of the big gaps that we see very often is companies that don't have that connection point. Because if you can't connect together what's going on with your customer with what's going on in the business in a really good way, you can't give data to sellers to be able to help them, data to marketers to be able to help them. You can't facilitate the sale between finance because they're involved in this. So I see it as a connector or a glue to the overall business to be able to satisfy the needs of customers.
So another tool that you've written about is interaction capture. And there's been tools like Gong, People.ai that are able to capture more business seller discussions. What's the value that you see of a revenue lifecycle tool in contributing to interaction capture?
Yeah, there's significant value. You have the interaction itself, and then you have all of the pieces that go into the interaction. So it's one thing to tick that you've done a phone call. It's another thing to see what was said in the phone call. Same type of thing when you're looking at purchasing behavior. It's a one thing to say that I purchased something. What these revenue lifecycle tools can do is really give you a view into what all of that means. So by seeing all of this transactional data, you could see things like, is my buyer buying the same things that they usually do? Has it dropped? If it's dropped, what am I going to do about it? You can provide insight there. Doing like customer reviews, you can identify new prospects that potentially didn't exist by saying these customers look like this and these other 20 customers don't buy from us, but they look the same, so they'd really value our product. And you could even use the typical stuff that you see in the quoting process or in the buying process where you're just doing cross sales to be or upsell opportunities. Whereas, hey, they bought this, you should buy these things. That because they typically go with this product and others buy it when they buy this type of product. Those are all really big opportunities to drive growth, and it's very front and center. So it's an opportunity for more sales that isn't visible to a lot of companies, and it's even less visible to companies that don't have a revenue lifecycle tool.
A lot of discussion these days about next best action, and a capability that's been around in some degree in quoting solutions over the years. What's the difference in how people are talking about next best action today versus what we've traditionally seen in quoting solutions?
Yeah, I think the concept is very much the same. It's looking, and you can see it in quoting solutions, and also it plays very heavily in e-commerce, where you're guiding a buyer through the process of purchasing their product, like you'd see on an e-commerce solution, or in a quoting solution, you're guiding the seller and configuring the quote in the best possible way. What this does is combine the two for B2B. So you're looking across interactions. So as you know, B2B interactions are They're not like a B2C interaction where it's usually a one-off sale, where that e-commerce interaction would be all contained. In a B2B buying motion, you'll have 27 plus interactions that you're having across a bunch of different avenues. And all of those when we look at next best action for B2B is looking at those different interactions, saying, based on what I'm seeing here, could be that a buyer went to your website and looked for a specific product. It could be the last interaction they asked about X, and using that to determine what the next action should be. So it's taking the aggregation of interactions and using that to inform the next one, whereas the quoting process and the e-commerce process is usually contained within the interaction or within the quote, but very similar concepts.
There are no shortage of tools available for sales organizations today. So if you think about a company that wants to be best in class from a sales organization, what do you see as like 5 must-have tools that they should invest in?
Yeah, I'll give you 5. 3 of them I think are must-have today, and I think the other 2 of them are going to be, 4 of them are must-have today, and 1 of them I think is going to be must-have. So obviously, every company has a CRM. I've had debates on whether CRM will exist. It won't exist in its form today, but will exist in the future. But as of right now, you need a place to store your customer data, and that is your Salesforce automation tool or CRM. The next thing is you need to have, especially we operate in the B2B world where you're dealing with complex sales, you need to have a quoting tool that can connect together the way you sell with the products that you're selling in an efficient way so you can understand what's going on. Then as a seller, you need to have the right content to be able to go into sales with what you need to execute. So a content management solution is also a must-have. And for sales people are paid off of commission. So you need a good sales performance management tool to be able to facilitate that in a way that it doesn't cause problems and you can execute your vision on how you incentivize your sellers to sell. And then the final one, which I said is a little bit debatable. I personally think you must have a sales engagement or revenue operations and intelligence type tools. You need something that's going to start aggregating interactions together so you can start analyzing and understanding how do you help your reps sell more, understanding what's really going on in deals so you can inform the business. And we're seeing a lot of that. I'm obviously biased because I write in those areas, but to me, those are must-have technologies to be able to run a high-level sales organization.
Seth, thank you for the insights. Thank you for joining us. We invite you to learn more at conga.com.